guys, my name is Araceli and welcome to Share Ara. If you are new to the channel, kindly hit the subscription button, the like button, and the bell notification so you will know every time I upload a new video. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for all the support. I just reached 1.5 K subscribers, so it's just a very good milestone for my channel. So thank you so much for all your support. Today's video, I'll be discussing about emergency fund. Ano ba ang emergency fund? Paano ba ito i-calculate? Ano ba ang kaibahan ng emergency fund sa, for example, a specific savings fund? So, I hope you'll stick around. Stay tuned. I have a video about savings and why an OFW such as myself have a hard time saving. So in that video, which I'm going to put a link in the description and also somewhere in the screen, I talk about the general rule of savings, diba? 20% goes to your utilities, your expenses, and 80% goes to your savings. Now, sa 80% na yan for savings, you should allocate or earmark an amount for emergency fund. So, ano nga uli ang emergency fund? Ito yung fund na allocated for emergency purposes. For example, magkasakit ka or you'll be laid off, especially, nowadays when times are very, very challenging and volatile. So, anytime that us non-essential workers can be laid off or can be, put on unpaid leave. So, kailangan natin ng fund to survive for the next 2, 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is na hindi tayo nakakatrabaho, di ba? So, emergency fund, a fund allocated for emergency, when you are laid off, when you are sick, or if your family member got sick, you need the money to cover the expenses. So, paano ba i-calculate? How do you compute the emergency fund? How much you should put as emergency fund? In our country, the Philippines, the general calculation is to set aside 3 to 6 months worth of your monthly salary. So, malaki-laki siya. If you have, for example, if you have 1,000, for example, monthly salary, you have to have 6,000 set aside for emergency fund. So, obviously, hindi mahirap i-put up at, isang beses yung emergency fund, di ba? So, you need to start somewhere, but you need to continue until you reach the 6-month fund. Now, kung hindi kaya, at least 3 months worth of your monthly salary. Kasi nga, kung sakit ka, for example, or nawalan ka ng trabaho, hindi naman kasi your utilities, your expenses don't stop just because you don't have a job, di ba? May babayaring electricity, internet, water, food, obviously. If you have kids, schooling fees, if you are renting your house rent. Those are very, very essential expenses that don't stop just because you lost your job, right? So you need to have a fund set up for at least 3 to 6 months para if ever hindi ka makahanap ng trabaho within the month or you cannot work because you get sick for 1 month, at least meron kang fund na where you can get your monthly expenses. Another way to calculate emergency fund is this. You add up all your monthly essential and fixed payments, for example. So, how much you allocate food expenses for the food, electricity, internet, water, house rent if you are renting, and all those things that are essential for you to live within a month, and then whatever the cost, multiply it by 3 or 6 months, and then there you have the amount you should be allocating for your emergency fund. Now, kung hindi talaga kaya, because I know, especially now, mahirap talaga mag-set ng set aside ng money. At least have something like 1 month. Para if ever, mawalan ka ng trabaho, at least you have 1 month na hindi ka hahabulin ng mga expenses. And hopefully within that 1 month, makakahanap ka ng ibang trabaho. Now, paano ba mag-set up ng emergency fund? Especially kung you're not used to savings, or you're not used to really allocating something set aside for future use. So, una is, kahit konting halaga lang every month, just set aside yung, really a little amount. Just, you start somewhere and you start building that fund. Pangalawa, baka, if you're a government worker, you probably will receive half of your 13th month in June and half in December, right? Why don't you put that 13-month pay, that amount as a seed for your emergency fund, diba? If you receive commission or bonus, put that as emergency fund so that you can start somewhere. Why don't you go for other sources of income kung hindi talaga kaya ng daytime job mo or day job? Why don't you go, for part-time? Teaching subject to students if you're a teacher. Do online selling, do affiliate marketing. I've created a video about affiliate marketing and how you can start and how you can earn extra bucks using your social media account. So you can sell food, you can do a lot of stuffs online actually. So, the amount that you earn, perhaps you can put it as your emergency fund. You can also sacrifice a little bit, maybe you can cut down on expenses, instead of always buying coffee at Starbucks, you can just stick to 3-in-1 for 1 to 2 months just to cut down on expenses. Do not use your credit card. If you can cut it up. Live below your means. Do not live within your means. Live below your means. Do not allow your salary to chase you. You should be following what your income is, not the other way around. Now, I talk about, sacrificing a little bit, but what I want you to do is put a cap or a period on your sacrifice. Now, why I'm saying that, kasi kung wala kang specific period on how long would you sacrifice, baka kasi ang mangyayari, you're just depriving yourself more and more, which is actually bad. There will be a bad effect on you psychologically. The more na you'll sacrifice a lot, the more actually that you are compelled to, or you have this compulsion to buy out of budget. For me, if you ask me, you need to prepare for your future. Your eyes should be in the future, but our feet, are rooted in the present. So while we are preparing for the future, do not forget to live in the present also. Celebrate a little as well. That's why I want you to sacrifice so that you can start saving and setting an emergency fund, yes, but make it in a specific period of time so you will not feel deprived. Now, for me, before you start saving for, retirement, saving for vacation, saving for the college education of your kids, I think you should first set up your emergency fund. If there is one thing that we all learned in 2020 and 2021 is that anytime life throws you a curveball. Now, you might say, Ara, this is just a bad timing. I don't have a job, or I'm just, barely surviving. But the reason why I come up with this video about setting an emergency fund is this. When life is a party, when we are on a roll, when we are happy, we tend to forget that 1, we might get sick in the future. 2, we will grow old. And third, we might be laid off. So those things that are painful, we don't really think about when we are happy. And that's the reason why now that we have this pandemic for 1 to 2 years already, we barely survive. Because before the pandemic, when we had, when our income, when our income is, full, when we have other sources of income, when we have our 13-month pay, when we have our commission, when we have our bonuses, when we have our tips, service charge, whatever it is that are extra on top of our salary, we didn't set it aside for emergency or for savings fund. And that is something that we should all learn actually now. So if there is one thing that we should do now that we are, I know, I'm optimistic that if we can survive, May, June, July, I think that we will be able to be stronger, at the end of the year. Vaccination programs are ramping, and also there are a lot of people are getting vaccinated more and more. So hopefully by September, the world will open more. There will be more countries opening, and slowly the non-essential workers like me, the hospitality workers in hospitality, workers in travel and tourism, and other industry will start working, and the economy will start getting better again. And when that time comes, I hope you remember to set aside a fund for your emergency and your savings. That's it for now. Bye.